Oh my god, good morning. It is 3:30 in the morning on Monday, and so I fly out for my work trip this morning. I have to leave for the airport at 5:30, and by the time I land, I have to go grocery shopping, get all my food, check in with my hotel, and I'm just it's like an unknown variable of how my evening is gonna go. So I just don't want something to pop up, and then I still have to do an hour of cardio after traveling all day. So I've decided to do it before I leave for the airport. So. But our front desk is jamming. So luckily my gym is open 24 hours. So we're gonna get our 65 minutes done right now. Oh my god, there's somebody in there. Wow, there's one other crazy person. Alright, we made it to the airport this morning. I charged my camera, my vlog camera, all night because I wanted to vlog when I got here, and I opened it up and it's still dead. So I don't know what's going on with my charger or what, but anyways, so I'm excited to get a coffee and then we'll kind of chat about what's been going on with prep. Woo. You guys know how much I love black coffee. That's how you know it's getting serious in prep, is my almond milk is gone. The almond milk. But nitro is a lifesaver, so if you're not drinking nitro, what are you doing? Yum. Alright guys, we are 3 weeks out, and this full week I'm traveling for work, so I'm going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina the whole week. And so it's been a little bit of a mental stress trying to make sure I have everything set. Like the hotel that I'm going to, they don't have microwaves at all on their location, even down in the breakfast area. So I'll show you when I get to the airport or to my hotel, but I had to buy this electric pot, and the electric pot so I can heat up my food, because it has a steaming level. And then I could make my oatmeal in it. Everything else, when I get there, luckily my brother lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I can prep all my food. So when I basically get to Charlotte, my plan is to go to the grocery store, get all my food that I need, go to my brother's, cook all my food, and then I'll go to the hotel and check in. But so first, they don't have a microwave anywhere at this hotel, which is surprising because it's a nice hotel. And then they also don't have refrigerators in the room, even a mini fridge. So when I called and asked them about it, they're like, it's a first come, first serve, but you can request one and put it in your room. But we need you to call the morning of your check-in to make sure that there's one available. So luckily, when I called right now, they have one available that they're going to put in my room when I check in later tonight. So that is one less thing to worry about. So food-wise, we will be good. I made a plan on how I'm going to do my workouts, when I'm getting them done ahead of time. I'm always going to do them as early as I can in the morning, because the reason I'm in Charlotte is for a conference. So I'm working basically at this conference all day, and then I need the evenings free in case there's any networking events that happen, or if there aren't, then I want to go and see my brother. So I'm making sure in the mornings I get everything done. This morning today is like an active rest day, so I just have my cardio, but I did the first half of it this morning. I was going to do the full 65 minutes, but I was thinking about it, and I can easily blow on the planes and retain water and everything, so it'd be nice to have like 30 minutes of cardio to do when I get at the like end of the day, just for like any like flushing of any like water that I'm holding on to, because tomorrow I have check-ins, so I had to like bring everything I needed for check-ins. So 3 weeks out, my macros and everything have started to get tapered down the last couple of weeks. I definitely don't feel as nearly fatigued as I did the last 2 preps at this point in prep. Like, I don't feel like that whole physical body exhaustion. Like, maybe I'm just like used to getting into these lower calorie ranges. But I feel pretty decent. But the only thing that happens and now at this stage is like, by just emotionally, I get so much more heightened. Like, prioritizing like what decisions to make is like, it just becomes really difficult for me, and then that like mentally stresses me out. Like, I had a whole mental breakdown yesterday at H&M trying to find work clothes because everything is so big right now, and I didn't want to waste money buying clothes that's like, 1, doesn't fit, and 2, it's not going to fit again in a couple weeks when I get back to like a normal weight. So that was stressful amongst like a bunch of other like stuff going on. So it's weird the way like I was talking to like Nico and my friend about it, is like I feel split in half, or like half of me knows that it's a perspective thing, and all these decisions are actually, they're not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things, and it's not like that stressful. But then the other half of me that is depleted and hungry is like has a hard time in those moments. So that's something I definitely want to like get better at as an athlete, is like just mentally being more aware in those situations and finding ways to like handle them better and just cope with them better, basically. So that's something I definitely want to work on, and I feel like this week will be a really good way to exercise that, because I'm out of my routine. I'm at work events. I have to make a lot of decisions that are going to be necessary for me to stay on plan and stay on track, and so it's kind of like forcing me to handle those situations better. So I'm looking forward to it. Plus, the last like 2 shows that I've done, I've always said like 3 weeks out is so hard for me, and I've told people like in my team, like, if you can try and stay like as busy as you can in those final few weeks, just to like keep your mind busy and not so focused on like, okay, 13 days, 14 days, whatever, it's helpful. And so here I go booking an entire work trip. We can do it. We are capable. We can do it. Only other things that have changed are, so 3 weeks out, all of like your added calorie like sauces are taken away. Like my almond milk is gone. I still have like pump and like pre-workouts and things like that. But yeah, I don't have like my normal sweeteners and stuff like that. Like, I use sugar-free syrup like on my oats and my breakfast and stuff, so that's gone now. I feel like that's like the most of my prep updates. Everything I feel like is so routine at this point, and so now I feel like I've stopped trying to like guess how I'm gonna feel and just like allow myself to feel whatever it is. I just want to have better coping skills now mentally when I have like those harder moments. But other than that, like, I feel really good. I'm so excited to see my team in a couple weeks, and like by the time I get back from Charlotte, a week and a half later I fly to Texas. So it's all coming up. Like, once I get through this work week, like everything else is just gonna be like bam, bam, bam. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's about it. I'll keep you updated on like how this week goes and how I'm staying on track and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you kind of how I packed and planned everything to do travel while on prep, especially this close to a show. And hopefully it helps. So, peace. Check you later. He's a good boy. Can you speak? Speak. Good boy. Look at me. Hi. It's a super baby.
Good morning. We finally figured out our camera. I don't know what went on with like the charger. It took like 3 days for it to charge up, but it is 5 a.m. Okay, I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. Like the worst insomnia last night. But it's Thursday. I've like barely vlogged, so I'll catch up with you guys. I think while I'm getting ready for today's final like work day here in Charlotte. But right now I need to go hit some upper body and probably do my first half of cardio and do my second half later. So we're gonna go do that. So that's just out of the way and done. So later today, all I need to do is like 30 minutes of cardio. Okay.
Regimen, and the longer you build momentum through sticking to your plan and stay with your hunger.
Okay. I was listening to a YouTube that I really like to listen to for like my cardio or just like in general. It's the Team Pro Physique Studios, and they talk about like prep topics as well as lifestyle topics. So I've been trying to listen to like as much as I can about post-show and reversing and off seasons and things like that, since that's something I'm approaching. And I've talked about it. It's after my August show, I did struggle for, like, I did the couple days off of my plan, but then it took me like another like week or two to kind of like reel it in. Like I was eating my meals that were provided on my meal plan, but I was also eating like other stuff on top of it, and it was just, my digestion was a mess. Like my body couldn't process all the like sugar and fats and everything, and so I just am trying to be as aware as possible as I can because I want to maximize my off season. So yeah, I'm trying to get my hands on as much information, and like what it all comes down to, like every resounding message that I hear is just like, suck it up. It's like when you eat the highly palatable foods that are like the sugar and butter and like a carb all together, that's like something you can bite into, that they call it a palatable food, that's like a cookie or something like that. It just triggers your brain. And then because, you know, We are depleting ourselves going into the show for a few weeks. Your body can't really stop its hunger hormone, so you just have to be as aware as possible that like it's a chemical reaction. And what they're saying is like you need to approach your first 6 to 8 weeks after a show the same way that you approach your prep into the show. And so that's really something I'm gonna try and follow. I'm gonna follow a meal plan post-show because of kind of what I experienced after the August show. And but after I kind of rein in any of my like excessive hunger and everything that I might experience, I really want to start trying to figure out being on a macro plan where like I just have my macros and I can choose what food sources to fill those macros. That's something that I'm not well versed in, and that feels like a mental load for me. It feels like a lot of decision making, and it can be hard to do, but it's a muscle that I want to exercise and flex, and like because it's a weak point for me, I want to make it a skill set for myself. And like ultimately I want my off season to feel very well rounded. I do want to break away from being on a specific meal plan and allow for a variety of foods and things like that, because I plan to have a longer off season and not doing like a few weeks. I'm doing like a few months, like hopefully like 6 to 8 months range. So I don't want to be on a set meal plan. I want to teach in myself and learn from as many people as I can about macros, and building my own foods around that and just getting better at that basically. Okay, this week has been crazy. I've felt like two different things. Like I've been, oh my god, I don't even know where to start. This work trip came about, and my work offered me to come to this big conference that they're doing out here in Charlotte, and I knew I would be 3 weeks out, and I was like, okay, this is something you've never done before. You've never traveled this close to a show. Like, do you feel like, and my initial thought is like, oh no, like I can't travel that close to a show. Like it's gonna be too hard. I'm gonna be too mentally exhausted. Blah 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 blah. But I think one of the areas that like I really truly want to grow as an athlete is like in prep, you're very regimented, you know, you cook your own foods, you follow a set plan, and then sometimes when something disrupts that, for me at least, I kind of freak out a little bit. Like I have a hard time navigating through situations that wasn't in my plan for the day or for whatever I had going on. And then I have it overwhelms me and I get really stressed out and things like that. And so when I was offered to come on this trip, I felt like it was a good opportunity to force me into a situation that would require me to exercise those coping skills better, because I have a job, I have a personal life. Life stressors don't stop just because you're in prep and just because you have a show in a few weeks. Like just because I'm closer to a show doesn't mean I lose all coping mechanisms for stress. And so that's like an area I really want to grow as an athlete, is to be more calm and level-headed, even if I'm depleted, even if I'm lacking calories, or my effort and expenditure is really high and my intake is low. Like I'm gonna be in stressful situations my whole life, and I'm gonna need to approach those hard situations with a clear mind. So that was really I felt like this was a good opportunity for a lot of reasons. One, just professionally, to go on this work trip. Two, my brother lives here in Charlotte, so I actually got to see him and his new puppy and his girlfriend, my friend Kelly. But then three, it was like, okay, you want an opportunity to grow as an athlete? Here you go. Like, it's possible. People do it all the time. My coach was in his peak week at my July show, and he was traveling to Houston and coaching 20 plus clients, you know what I mean? Like, so it's possible. And like that podcast I was just talking about that I listened to, the guy, one of the guys on there that's a coach, he was like, he was a traveling salesman for most of his bodybuilding career. And so he was always on prep, but he was traveling 5 days out of the week. So I hear those things and I know they're possible, and it all comes down to, one, having a plan and trying to be as prepared as possible, but two is coming in with the right mindset that I'm capable of handling a hard situation, I'm capable of making it all work, and then executing that. And so that's what I fucking did. Today is the last day of this convention, and then I actually fly home tomorrow. It's overall, like, it's all worked out, and I think a lot of it had to do with, like, my mindset coming into this, that, like, I said to myself from the beginning, we're gonna make it work no matter what. And it's gonna be okay, and I'm not gonna stress out. I haven't cried, so that's cool. I usually cry when I'm stressed, and I haven't cried at all. So that's a huge freaking win. Yeah, okay, yeah, so then I'll spend time with my brother tonight, and then I'll fly home tomorrow. And it's kind of nice because I'm traveling most of the day, but I have a high food day tomorrow, or high carb day in every meal. So it's kind of nice to get that, like, during a travel day, and so I'm not, like, navigating all of, like, the stress of travel and then also being depleted. And then we'll see what happens on Saturday. We'll see what happens with my check-in. Maybe we'll probably, like, deplete again for a while and then maybe get a high day again, so we'll see. But Saturday we're 2 weeks out, which I am so freaking excited. I just feel like I know I'm going to come in how I'm supposed to be looking. Like, I don't have any doubt in that, and it's just up to me to execute and make it happen. Starting on Saturday, like, artificial sweeteners and everything are gone. I already have, like, added sauces are already gone, and, like, drinks and stuff like that. So, like, my almond milk's been gone all week. But then the sugar-free stuff, any, like, sweeteners are taken out on this coming Saturday. And then the only seasonings that we're doing are just, like, salt that I'm supposed to be doing. So, like, we do a big water, we load with some water at 2 weeks out, and then we also manipulate, like, my sodium. I'm gonna make my breakfast here in a second, so I'll probably share how I'm doing that here in the hotel, because I think I shared that I don't have a microwave and they only have, like, a little tiny mini fridge. So I had to bring a pot to make my breakfast because it's, like, egg whites. So I'll share that in a little bit when I make that first meal and, like, how I'm doing it. But yeah, thanks for coming to my little talk. Okay, it's breakfast time. So this is the thing that I bought. It's, like, an electric little plug-in pot. Okay, so you plug it in, and then it has this, like, on the end, you can turn it off, turn it low, turn it high, and oh wow, it's already hot. That is so fast, actually. My stomach just growled so loud. I'm so hungry. I've been up since, it's 7:30 right now. I've been up. Okay, I didn't sleep last night. And then I woke up, I got like 2.5 hours of sleep maybe. Worked out at 5, got done. I've just been, like, drinking some coffee. I already drink, like, greens and some water. And I've been trying to put off my first meal, because obviously the earlier I eat, the earlier I have to eat the rest of my meals, or I have to, like, spread out my other meals. But it's 7:30 and I'm starving, so we're doing it. This is already hot. Like, it's literally been a minute. awesome. I might use this like at home. Bam. This is so convenient. Alrighty, time to head to the work event, the last day, and then I'll be able to go hang out with my brother, do a little bit of cardio tonight, and fly home tomorrow. So, see you when I see you.
I have any concierge key in the boarding area? Any concierge key?
Made it to the airport. It's Friday morning. The theme of this work week is Emily sleeps through all her alarms. Just the worst sleep at night, and then in the mornings I sleep through all my alarms. Luckily I woke up at 7:30 and I had to leave for the airport by 8:30. And the plan was to do my cardio and my workout before my flight so I don't have to do it when I get home. Plans change when you sleep through all your alarms, so I'm just happy that I didn't miss a flight. And so I had time to like get ready, do my first meal, pack everything up, and then I went to now I'm at the airport. I'm boarding in like less than 10 minutes, and then I'll be home and I'll have to do my cardio and my workout when I get home, but we'll deal with that when we deal with it. We're not going to think about it right now. Packed all my meals, high carb day, but with the time change, technically I would be like about to have meal 4 by the time I land, but because of the time change I land at 1:30, and I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do my meals because I'm gonna have to wait. Oh my god, I'm like really gonna have to spread them out so that, because if I land at 1:30 then I'll only have like 2 meals left. So I think I should try to wait to eat meal 3 like right before I land, and then that way I can get meal 4 and 5 back on like the right timing for California. But alright, that's all that's going on here. I feel like this was such a good week. Just like challenging myself and like rising to the occasion and seeing my brother, seeing my work colleagues, and prepping and checking boxes. So I'm feeling proud. I am behind on editing all my YouTube videos, so I'm going to do that this weekend. I'm going to get I don't even know. I've been so behind and slacking on posting my YouTube, so I think I need week 4 and 5, or 3. Yeah, I'm going to have to post 4 weeks out and 3 weeks out, so I'll take a poll on my Instagram and either I'll do 2 videos or just combine them. There's not a lot of content on this week. Maybe I'll combine them.
Please remember this is a full flight also FedEx all backpacks.
Alright.
Carry
We're boarding. See you later.